Right. Oh, thank you very much. I'm sorry, I'm not David. I'm not as handsome as him, so you have to do it with me, especially late in the evening when everybody wants to drink beer. But we'll make it short and sweet for you. So what I want to talk about today is email automation, driving revenue through emails. So you might have heard of us as Revinate. We started off about 7 years ago as a company that focused on reputation for hotels. We built a platform where you could integrate or basically collect all data around what people leave on reviews, on TripAdvisor, on different review websites, and analyze that and aggregate that and understand that. And since then, we've grown from there. We're very lucky to work with about 32,000 hotels around the world, and we help them on different levels. And one of them is reputation. The other thing is surveys, actively asking people for feedback. And the other thing is what we do is email automation. And today, I just want to talk about emails. We've been asked, one of the focus areas why we do this is because we have the connection with Mews systems where we pull data from the PMS, and that way we have that integration, and that's why we want to specifically talk about that today. So why email marketing? First question, does anybody as a hotel do email marketing? Nobody. Oh, one. There you go. At least there's one in the room. So why email marketing? I think there's just a couple stats. Email is still the easiest and most effective, and certainly the cheapest way to reach your customers. There's more email addresses. It's still the preferred method, even for millennials. Although everybody thinks that everybody is on WeChat or on WhatsApp. Email is still the preferred method, and it has a higher conversion than social, than any other channel. So email for hotels, we found, is the most profitable and easiest way to generate additional revenue for hotels. And if you look at the customer journey, for those who've been sitting in the room from early this morning till all the way till the end, till me as the almost last person, starting from inspiration research, booking, pre-arrival, on-site, and afterwards, email is pretty much used throughout the whole process. The only way we cannot really effectively use email yet is through the research phase, which is probably going to change in the future. But email is a way to communicate with your guest throughout the whole journey. And if we then specifically look at what we do within Revinate, is we have a platform that is all about generating revenue for you as a hotel with emails. So when you open up the dashboard, the first thing basically you see is how much revenue do you generate with emails, and what are your campaigns performing? How much money do you actually generate as a marketing manager, as a revenue manager, with all the efforts that you put in? And we can look at this in kind of two ways. We divide this in when we look at email campaigns in two different segments, and the first one is automated campaigns. And I think automated campaigns have the benefit of setting it and forgetting it. You build it once, and based on certain triggers, based on certain PMS data, based on certain information that happens, changes in the PMS that are happening, you have automated emails that flow out your system. And the advantage is if you don't have time to create emails for every situation, but once you create them and have the system run it, it saves you a lot of time, and it runs in the background and keeps. You think about the journey that I showed earlier, it keeps your guest informed throughout the whole guest journey. And automated campaigns can be built, as I said earlier, on triggers. So for example, when we integrate with Mews, the first email you might get into the journey is a confirmation email. Person makes a reservation based on rate code, based on rate, based on number of days of stay, whatever criteria you can think of PMS data that you pull from your Mews PMS system. We can set certain triggers or certain emails. And that information can actually flow back into the email. So confirmation emails is obviously one. Confirmation emails that are good looking versus the basic text ones. And the other thing is you can look at rates that people pay, or booking channels. So if you book through booking.com, you might want to get a different or send a different confirmation email than if you book direct or if you book through a group. And some examples of things that people say is first of all, and it's all the way in the end again, an automated campaign is an OTA win back. People that come through an OTA to your website, you know that because of the booking channel, you automatically send them an email, and you try to win them back and have them book direct this time. I still wonder why they choose 12% discount versus 10 or 15, but thought it was interesting. And another one is an welcome on property. Automated, you see this as well, where you get, traditionally you got a letter from the GM promoting the restaurant and all the activities. These days, it's just automated. And again, you can change this based on the profile and the persona and on the booking days. So if somebody stays only 2 days with you in the hotel, he might get a different email than somebody who stays a week or somebody who stays longer. Or people that only stay, alone, one room, one guest in a room, or that have a family or have a couple, they get different offers and they get different messages. And the goal is all around, upselling, all around making sure that people use your facilities, your restaurants, your spas, whatever you have to offer, and get them to use the most, facilities and most amenities in your hotel. Yeah, voila. The other thing is one-time campaigns. And one-time campaigns are basically promotional offers or, as it says, one-off campaigns. And this can be both sent to PMS data, so things that you pull from your Mews PMS system and based on certain criteria, or it could be uploads that you want to send to specific groups. So if you have a group of wedding planners and your hotel does a lot of wedding business, you might want to promote, the new ballroom or the refurbished, whatever you do. Or you have a group of local customers that you want to get back to your hotel, get back to your restaurants, get back to your facilities. You can send off one-off campaigns. So this can be both from the PMS data as well as from data that just an Excel upload or a CSV upload. And some ideas for one-off campaigns, and then this is again shows the example. It's so hard to see, but you see a little bit in the text is where two people get two different emails based if they're a family or a couple. And this is just a promotion. You're running low on occupancy and you just want to, create some more interest and create some more demand. Ways to send promotions and one-off campaigns. And the other one is around holidays. Pi Day, that's a very famous holiday in the US. I don't know why, but they figured out that it was a good day to do sales, and we see a lot of our customers doing Pi Day sales, and it actually works really well. So any event that you do, you create one-off campaigns and you send them out. The thing with, regardless if you do one-off campaigns or you do automated campaigns, the thing what is key for you to send emails is that you segment your database and that you send relevant messages to relevant, to the relevant audience. And this sounds very logical, but still we see a lot of hotels doing mass blasts to their email, and I'm subscribed to, a couple hundred emails from hotels, and I often get invitations to do Friday drinks in New Zealand on this side of the world, and unfortunately it's not really relevant for me. And you see that often when you send mass blasts, people unsubscribe. And we see that as well in our data. The smaller the audience size, so if we see audiences less than 1,000 people, the highest the click rates and the highest the conversion rates and the highest the revenue that people generate. So segmenting your database, making the emails relevant for your audience is something you need to do. And it's not only us telling it, it's also some people that study that for a living find the same results. So how do we do this? Within Revinate, we've built a segment builder. This is something we recently revamped and relaunched, let's say it like that. And basically every piece of PMS data that we can pull, again, you're all using Mews, and we all pull that from that system. But every piece of information that we can pull from the PMS, you can segment your database on. So starting, for example, with VIP guests, number of stays, how much money have they spent, when is the last time they stayed at your hotel, how far away from the hotel, families, solo travelers, couples, with kids, without kids, with a dog, you name it, any type of information you can think of that's recorded in the PMS can be built around the segment. As well, you can include or exclude future reservations, make sure that you don't email If you have contracts with corporates and you don't want to exclude certain email domains, you can build segment around that. And the good thing is what we see hotels doing more and more is build these pre-built segments where they run campaigns to. So past guests with no future stays, or VIP, or your top 100 spending guest. And again, the more segmented and the more tailored your message to that specific audience, the higher the better the results and the higher the revenues. So once you build your segment, once you finalize, hey, this is the audience I want to send it to, and again, you can see which basically very nicely what they spend on average per stay, how much money do they generate per stay, and how many guests are in that segment. So you have an idea of the audience size. You can actually start building your email. So our HTML email builder is basically a drag and drop HTML5 where you can, with a little bit of practice, I would say within an hour, create an email campaign that looks good, that is tested, that is rendered on all different devices from iPhones, Androids, desktop computers, and is ready to be actually fired off and launched. And then on the back end, we give you reporting on the results. We tell you, obviously the clicks, the bounce, the opens, all these type of things, but we're also telling you the revenue that it actually generated. So we're telling you who booked and what channel did they book. And so this way you can, if you're a marketing manager or a revenue manager, you can go back to your, direct report and tell them, I actually did this campaign, we generated so much revenue. And we give you all these insights and when it booked and all these type of details. And I think this is key because opens and clicks are great, and I do email marketing for Revinate as well, but it doesn't always tell you what you actually want to know, how many people book, because in the end, it's often or most often about generating revenue as part of your job. And then within the individual profiles, within the individual guest, you can actually see, who is that guest, when did they book, what email campaigns did they clicked on, and when is the last time they stayed, and what is their profile. So you really have an understanding on a guest level as well, what is the behavior of this guest and how much money has they spent and how often have they stayed at our hotel. And this is as well for an individual hotel. So if you're part of a group, this is well for your individual hotel. As well, we can roll up the reporting in group reporting and give you an understanding if you work at a head office and you have 6, 7, 15 hotels, what actually the guests are doing in each individual hotel within your group. Last, I want to highlight one campaign, and this is a campaign of, we have every month a campaign of the month, and I think it's something we want to showcase what our customers are doing. Couple things why I think this is really good. It's very clean, simple, easy to understand. It gives you a direct call to action. Click here, book now, and it gives you multiple offers. And they use, the best ways of actually filtering and segmenting the database, and also using personalized information for the database. So they used, Mr. first name, last name, or Mrs. first name, last name. We've missed you. Come back to our hotel with some offers. And if you look at the open rates, click rates, and reservations that it generated, I think it did very well for the hotel. This was my presentation. Thank you very much for your time. And my colleague and I are upstairs if you have any questions. Thanks.